Okay, security analyst Arash Aramesh joins me now from San Francisco. Great to see you, Arash. Horrible attack. Do you think we could see more of them?
Perhaps. It's very hard to stop attacks like this. Terrorists are no longer after mass casualty attacks like the ones that we saw in London a few years back on the train system and on the buses, or the September 11 attacks here in 2001. Not that they're not interested, but they know how hard it is to carry out, to plan, mobilize and carry out those attacks and not get caught. It's much easier to go out, grab a gun, and attack the Canadian Parliament, or take hostages in a coffee shop in Australia, or come out and attack a newspaper, a magazine in Paris. So yes, this shows that these sorts of attacks work for the terrorists, but we also have counter-terrorism measures and methods that can perhaps counter these actions and put a certain degree of measure of safety in place.
What can they do? I mean, these two men were known in France, the French officials. They were also on a US no-fly watch list. They were known, but obviously you can't keep an eye on everybody, can you? So what can you do? What can you put in place, realistically?
You can't keep an eye on everybody, but we do know, at least we have a good idea about who these people are who travel to Syria for jihadi purposes, who go to Iraq for jihad. This particular person, the younger brother, was on our radar, on French officials' radar as well, ever since the Iraq war began. He became more and more radicalized. So you see a combination of being society's rejects, a common criminal, who later on becomes radicalized by a radical Muslim preacher, and that's a deadly combination. What can we do to prevent that? We got to do a lot better, especially in Muslim communities in Europe, to have a better understanding and working relationship with the communities. Without the help of Muslim communities, it's very, very difficult. Or without the help of any community, for that matter, it's very hard for intelligence and counterterrorism officials to be able to penetrate and get information. A. B. While we can't keep an eye on everybody, we do have a pretty good idea of who these people are. We can do a better job of allocating resources to targets who perhaps come, or individuals who come back from Syria, from Iraq, from Pakistan, from Yemen, from places that we have a good idea, at least we know Al-Qaeda or ISIS or other radical Islamist groups do training. But what's very important here is that at the very core of our societies, we believe in free speech, we believe in freedom of expression, and we do believe in the due process of the law. So we should not just go out and expect some crazy law enforcement action, but we have to work within the legal framework that we have while respecting our basic liberal values.
Well, Arash, I don't know what sort of conversations are taking place in the United States, but certainly in the UK and on the European continent in France, many people now have switched and said the onus really is on the Muslim community. They are fearing a reaction to these, and it's really on the Muslim community now to say no, enough. What sort of things are being said in the US?
There's been a lot of disappointment and the feeling of being upset about what's been going on, not just in the United States, but abroad. I, for one, think that the Muslim community, at least in the United States, is much better integrated and much better assimilated within the society as a whole. And I think that goes back to America and Canada's really good track record with immigration, with integration, with assimilation, and with economic stability, for that matter. So I'm not saying America and Canada's track record and there's the solutions that they put forth should be the same as what you do in the United Kingdom or in France or Germany, but there's definitely a problem when a significant portion, when a portion of a society is so radicalized that they decide to support actions of ISIS. Not long ago, a major research and polling company in the United States with global with global reach conducted a very good, valid poll in France, and a large number of the Muslim community in France at the time, at least those who were polled, agreed with the actions of ISIS. So you see that radicalization is a problem. You see that there are problems within the community that have to be addressed. But let's also be fair. You know, there are millions and millions of Muslims who live peacefully. The vast majority of the Muslim community is a peaceful community. All they want to do is go to work, raise their families, have a peaceful life as members of the American, the British, the French, or the German communities. But it does not give us a sort of a free get out of jail card to just say that. Yes, communities have to do a much better job identifying these elements within them who are, for the most part, society's rejects. If you look at the profile of these guys who get radicalized, for the most part, they are not the most successful elements in those societies to begin with.
Arash Aramesh, thank you very much for that.